Thank you for joining us on this week's UTRGV-TV edition. I am Aisha Palma.
And I'm Martha Ibarra, and UTRGV-TV starts now.
On this week's top story, natural disasters have taken their toll and impacted millions of people, not only in the United States, but in their neighboring countries as well.
Our reporter Yuliana Quiroz has the details on how our university is helping those affected by the devastating earthquakes in Oaxaca.
Help bring awareness to the Oaxaca relief drive.
Thousands of homes were destroyed by the massive earthquakes in Mexico, leaving residents in Oaxaca to live outdoors. The international programs and partnerships under the Office of Global Engagement initiated the Oaxaca Earthquake Disaster Relief Drive after it was requested by a representative from La Guelaguetza of Oaxaca, a festival that will be held this week at the Edinburgh campus.
Because when they come to perform, they're going to bring, buses, and they're able to take some of this stuff back.
Okay. Anything helps out. I know, we're college students, and we can, the struggle's real. So anything that y'all can help out with.
Heavily involved in charity, Lupita Neira, the vice president of Lambda Theta Alpha, says that after having helped in a relief drive for Hurricane Harvey victims, the sorority was looking for an opportunity to help the earthquake victims in Mexico.
The IPP they reached out to us in regards to the drive that they were doing and that they wanted to get more people involved so that they can get more donations. And we found it was a perfect opportunity to do so. And student involvement and I were speaking, and we said that it was a perfect opportunity to help out.
A lot of our students, of course, have ties to Mexico, and especially with us being so close to the border, it's important for us to give back.
The donation items that were collected included anything from canned goods to clothing. And after donating, students were able to participate in a raffle for two $250 scholarships.
So if y'all bring, you'll get tickets to participate in the raffle.
And with a sense of hope and a positive outlook for the future, Neira says that even the smallest donation will make a great change and be of great help to the earthquake victims in Oaxaca.
I always like to think of this like this, hoy por ellos y mañana por nosotros. We never know when it's going to be our turn, like it happened with Harvey, like now it's happening in Mexico. I feel like if we help out, it's really going to help.
These donations that you see here right next to me will actually be picked up and loaded onto the buses of the visitors coming in from Oaxaca this week. For UTRGV-TV, I'm Yuliana Quiroz.
Each day, people drive drunk more than 300,000 times, and about 800 people are injured in a drunk driving crash. I had the opportunity of attending the Math Walkathon, which raises awareness on DUI. Here is more on the story.
We are here today because we, as a community, we have to do much more to prevent and to bring the awareness.
The Mothers Against Drunk Drivers held their 6th annual walkathon, in which families gathered together to commemorate the memory of their loved ones. Since its inception, MAD has helped save nearly 350,000 lives and has served 850,000 victims.
22 years ago, my husband was killed by a drunk driver and left my 2 children without a father. And since then, I've been with MAD.
The MAD organization has not only helped Ms. Mecco, but many other families as well, to aid the victims of crimes performed by individuals driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs.
To those people that decide to get drunk and drive, I want to tell them to decide and to think about it twice before getting into a vehicle, because it doesn't cause damages only to you or your family, but it causes to the people that get lost in the accidents.
MAD supports drunk and drug driving victims and survivors at no charge, serving one person every 15 minutes through local MAD victim advocates. For more information, you can contact 956-682-5928. And remember, next time you think about drinking and driving, think MAD. For UTRGV-TV, Aisha Palma.
The Lupus Foundation of America hosted its 3rd annual 5K walk. Our reporter Dulce Cortinas has more.
Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease that can damage any part of the body. In order to bring awareness, the Lupus Foundation of America held its third annual 5K walk to end lupus now to fundraise for lupus research. Proceeds from this event supports programs such as education and outreach, direct services, research and overall support of the lupus community. The event started with our national anthem and brought people together to support the cause and bring awareness.
It's hosted by the Lupus Foundation of America, Texas Gulf Coast chapter, and it's typically to raise funds for the cause. And we had a group of we had a support group down here that called us and wanted to organize a walk.
More than 60,000 new cases of lupus are reported annually across the country. About 1.5 Americans have lupus. Lupus strikes mostly women of childbearing age. However, men, children, and teenagers develop lupus. Support groups across the UTRGV are provided for victims and their families to help cope with this disease.
When my wife was struck, she went into a very depressed mood because she was in denial, first of all, and she thought she was the only one with this illness. As we went to the meetings, we found out that there's a lot of people who have this dreaded disease, lupus. And it helped us get back to the way we were, because we were drifting apart because of her depression, because of this illness.
Lupus can range from mild to life-threatening with good medical care. Most people with lupus can lead a full life. It can affect so many different organs. A wide range of signs and symptoms can occur.
With the sun, like I couldn't run because I get really sick with the sun, but there's other people who don't. Another symptom is you get joint pain, like if you had arthritis, and the pain is the same. You get a pain in the chest as well. Headaches, migraine headaches. There are different symptoms that you get with lupus.
Signs and symptoms tend to last longer than 6 weeks and often for many years. A facial rash is the most common sign of lupus. It resembles the wings of a butterfly unfolding across the cheeks. For UTRGV-TV, I am Dulce Cortinas.
Whether students' disabilities go unnoticed or not, the Student Accessibility Services is here to accommodate students' specific needs when some have questioned their incapacities.
Our reporter Ileana Luna has more on Student Accessibility Awareness Month.
You look fine. Normal is just one of the many statements professors and classmates tend to say towards a student with an unnoticed disability. The Student Accessibility Services held a student panel discussion in the Bronx Room at the Edinburgh campus to raise the importance of Accessibility Awareness Month, inviting 7 disabled students.
It's one of the events we have this month for Accessibility Awareness Month here at the university, and so we've gathered together a group of students that are served through our office, Student Accessibility Services, to share their experiences here at the university since they are students with disabilities.
The panel not only enabled the students to speak about their unique disabilities, but the accommodations that the Student Accessibility Services Center has done to better equip them.
My disability is that I'm severely dyslexic. Initially, I'm in the physician assistant program, and I was struggling, and I think most of maybe my colleagues and peers thought maybe you're not working as hard. They didn't see that I was working on the side and struggling profusely. So it was either acknowledge my disability and get the accommodations or flunk out of PA school. And I chose the first one. And since then, the Student Accessibility Services Office has helped me figure out what accommodations are available to me and what will help me succeed. And it has changed my life.
Even though some disabilities can go unknown, the students voice their concerns on their peers and professors who think otherwise of their impairments.
If anything else, I want to say to the professors, realize that we wish we didn't have to do this. We really do. It takes extra effort. I have to speak to every professor individually. I have to register for every test individually. So while my peers are studying, I'm doing stuff so that I can get my accommodations. This isn't the road I wanted, but realize that this is the only way that I can succeed, and whatever it takes, then that's what it takes. And to my peers, realize that we may be different, but we're just as smart. And I think my peers have been able to embrace it. I have a wonderful class, and they understand that I go and test it at the accessibilities office, but and I do things different, but it doesn't mean they've never degraded me, and that's a really important. And learn about it. Learn why your peers are that way.
The Student Accessibility Services will work with the disabled in order to get the full college experience.
And again, to invite any student who has a disability or a condition that impairs their learning to visit with us in our office. We might be able to support them.
For more information, call 665-7005 for the Edinburgh campus or 882-7374 for the Brownsville campus. For UTRGV-TV in Edinburgh, I'm Ileana Luna.
Even though smoking is prohibited on UTRGV grounds, a shocking number of cigarette butts were found on the Edinburgh campus. Our reporter Jorge Hinojosa has the story.
Despite the changes in tobacco policies, UTRGV students still do smoke on campus. Let's go ahead and see why. Many cigarette filters can be found around the Edinburgh campus, so many that the Behavioral Health Solutions of South Texas found more than 600 of them around the campus library. Some students argue that smoking helps them cope with stress.
Smoking a cigarette between study breaks or between tests is really, it makes a huge difference. And people who don't smoke don't understand that. And this is a decision that we make as students, and I feel like our decisions shouldn't be made for us.
This computer science student, however, thinks otherwise about the ban.
Like, I can understand that some people, they smoke because it's stress, but, they have to, find other ways to, get rid of it.
UTRGV health educator says that students are not in compliance with the new tobacco policies.
Close to the library, the north side of the library, and they picked up close to 600 cigarette butts, if not a little bit more, in less than an hour.
I spent my lunch break around the e-labs, and searching front to back, I found over 50 cigarette butts.
What we see there is that students are not respecting the do not smoke signs on campus. The university is a smoke-free campus.
Between May 31st and September 28th, a total of 2,431 cigarette filters have been picked up. With students smoking to relieve stress and others glad that smoking is now prohibited on campus, the university still has hope to end this controversial habit. In Edinburgh, reporting for UTRGV-TV, I'm Jorge Hinojosa.
Would you like to embark on a magical journey full of fun and excitement? Our reporter, Yuliana Quiroz, has the web report filling us in on the upcoming university production.
Hey UTRGV-TV viewers, I'm here in the Jeffers Theater where the rehearsals for A Midsummer Night's Dream are currently taking place, and I actually got to talk to the director, Mr. Kent Smither, to see what it takes to put on a play like this one.
What we do, especially in a play like this that is full of fantasy, we create a world. We create a world of our own, and we make our own rules of how that world works and what the sounds are that magic spells make and all of that. We have an original score being written by a Valley musician who has performed here many times, and he's doing the sound design and making the sound effects for the fairy magic spells and all of that. We even have time being turned back, and how does that sound in a sound effect? So you start 6 months in advance talking to costume designer, set designer, props designer, the music writer, and then I'm also doing dancing in this. There's fairy dances and things like that. So putting all of those things together and making all of the ways the world of music and sound and light and set come together and create a world that's special and different, just like in movies, the Harry Potter world or the Lord of the Rings world was created. We have to create our own special universe.
So if you like Shakespearean comedies or have yet to experience one, you should definitely come and see A Midsummer Night's Dream, which will be opening on November the 7th and have performances following after that till the 12th. It's a show you definitely do not want to miss. Here in the Jeffers for UTRGV-TV, I'm Yuliana Quiroz.
To celebrate the tip-off of the upcoming basketball season, I attended the university's annual school spirit event, UTRGV Madness. Here's more on the story. The crowds, the swag, the madness. Hundreds were in attendance as the men's and women's basketball teams made their debut at UTRGV Madness. The night began with the pre-Madness glow party where students got to let loose, dance, and eat as the vaquero spirit surged.
Came to just have fun, come hang out with other people from Edinburgh. We're from Brownsville, so we really wanted to get more insight as to what goes on here and all the festivities and things like that.
Following the glow party, students made their way to the field house where the celebration continued with various performances, a dance competition, and much more. In order to instill a sense of pride and tradition on campus, the Office of Student Involvement organizes this and other events that focus on implementing a common bond among vaqueros.
We want our current students to definitely build up that pride and excitement of participating in our events, whether you're, making a poster or you're attending a basketball game or whatever it is that we're doing. We just want them to feel connected, have that spirit.
For its third year in a row, this celebration succeeds in bringing students together as they look forward to the tip-off of the upcoming basketball season. UTRGV Madness not only gives students the opportunity for a great night, but also allows for the vaquero spirit to resonate.
School pride, and that's what it's about, and that's what I tell every time I speak to different organizations at the school, we got to have more school pride, and that's what I seen tonight.
In Edinburgh, for UTRGV-TV, Martha Ibarra.
Migrant families form a big part of the Rio Grande Valley.
The Basilica of Our Lady San Juan del Valle held the Migrant Welcome Festival with lots of food, live music, and entertainment. Our reporter Kenya Gomez has more.
As a way to give back to the community, the Basilica of Our Lady of San Juan held an event honoring migrant families, filled with live music, food, and games for children. Many don't know that the Basilica was built by migrants who made donations as appreciation for protecting them as they worked on the fields. Every year, a migrant family is recognized at the event.
UTRGV, in their Department of Immigration, they help us to write the biographies of families or to find the families that were migrating. And then they sent the biographies to me, and I read them, I go through them, so I chose the one that I think should be honored that year.
This year, the Ramirez family from Edinburgh were chosen for their hard work and success. Despite their obstacles, they managed to acquire an education and leave the migrant lifestyle in the past.
To have been chosen was a really, really great honor. So I'm really excited not just for myself, but for my mom and dad.
Patricia attributes her success to her parents and all those others who helped her along the way to receive her degree in engineering. Along with the Basilica's recognition, the family also received a proclamation for the mayor of Edinburgh. For UTRGV-TV, I am Kenya Gomez.
Here's a look at the latest in the world of sports with Daniel Galvan and Nathaniel Puente.
How's it going, guys? This is two guys talking about sports. I'm one of the guys. This is the other guy. I'm Daniel. Who's this?
I'm Nathaniel.
Nathaniel, are you excited to talk about UTRGV athletics?
Absolutely.
So what happened?
Well, this week the volleyball team took on CSU Bakersfield.
That didn't happen this week. That happened last week.
All right, last week. You can see how prepared I am. Last week, UTRGV volleyball took on CSU Bakersfield. They beat them 3-1. Bojana Mitrovic had 14 kills on the night.
14 kills. 7 times 2. What is that?
27.
14.
Awesome. Ragni Steen Knudsen.
Sten Knudsen.
Ragni Sten Knudsen.
Knudsen. She's from Norway. She's another outside hitter. She had 13 kills.
She had 3 aces.
Good point. Barbara Silva had 13 kills.
Good job.
So those are the players. They were really good. They beat CSU Bakersfield. You know what's really cool, by the way? UTRG volleyball is 8-0 at home. They're undefeated at home.
That is the first time in program history that they are 8-0.
They're so good at home. What's your favorite thing to do inside your house?
Watch UTRGV volleyball.
Absolutely. Now, the reason why we're talking about that game is because this week they did lose, but it was on the road against New Mexico State, a really tough team. UTRGV beat New Mexico State earlier in the year at home. They went away. It's like they're big rivals, and it's going to be really cool because I think they're going to play in the conference tournament this year. And the cool thing about the conference tournament is that it's in Edinburgh. UTRGV is undefeated in Edinburgh, and they don't play at home for a couple weeks, I believe, right? Is that true?
Yeah, but then they return. Let's see.
Just look a little closer. Just look a little. You see it? Just. When did they return?
They returned November 2nd against Seattle U.
You guys need to watch it. It's so much fun to watch UTRGV volleyball. Again, the constant thing about volleyball is they're history makers. They won the WAC conference tournament last year. They're in a good position to do it again, and they've done so much. Let's talk about soccer. You ready to talk about soccer?
Absolutely.
U.S. men's soccer will not be in the World Cup.
Thanks, Trinidad and Tobago.
That was, thanks to U.S. Like it was all the U.S.'s fault that we're not in the World Cup. It's because we're just.
It's not our fault.
It's absurd. It's absurd. There's like 5 trillion people in America. We can't even make the World Cup. We lost to Trinidad and Tobago. Like what?
How many people do you think live there?
I really wanted to like soccer, and now I have to wait 8 years.
Well, you can still watch UTRGV women's soccer.
That's a good transition. Oh my goodness gracious. The women's soccer, they had, I believe, a tie on the road against CSU's Bakerfield, but on Sunday, they had a phenomenal game against Chicago State. They won that game like 5-0, I think.
6-0.
6-0. Just a great game. You got to check out the highlights. Sarah Bonney had 2 goals, including a wonder kick, a goal from Andrea Barrera. You had a goal from Allison Smith, Diana Ansa, as well as Mackenzie McLeod.
And you know, this game locks UTRGV into the WAC tournament later this year.
Big time. You got 8 teams in the conference, only 6 make it. And with the game to play, UTRGV women's soccer is in the tournament. And you know what you should do this week?
What?
Go to the soccer complex this weekend and watch the women's soccer team take on New Mexico State. It's the last ever soccer game here in Edinburgh, as men's soccer already wrapped up on Sunday with senior day against San Jose State.
Yeah, unfortunately they lost it 1-0, but UTRGV still in a good position. They have a 5-6-3 record, still going to make the tourney.
Likely. It's going to be hard though. There is 11 teams. It's going to be the top 7, and I believe UTRGV is now somewhere around 8 or 9. Fortunately for them, they are on the road, but the good thing is they're playing 2 teams in Incarnate Word and Houston Baptist that are the bottom 2 teams in the WAC. So if they go out on the road, get 2 wins there, I think likely they'll be in the conference tournament. It will be tough, but once again, in men's soccer, the WAC is super tough. You have teams like Seattle U and Air Force is actually in the WAC, as well as Utah Valley, UNLV. These are some really good soccer teams, and for UTRGV, they have been incredibly competitive this year. It's just a real hard conference, but we shall see. That's all the UTRGV. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
How about that World Series? The Astros and Dodgers will be getting together starting Tuesday.
Who's going to win?
Hopefully the Dodgers.
What? You don't like the Astros?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm a Rangers fan.
Absolutely,
and I'm salty.
me too. The Astros are awful. If you're watching this and you're an Astros fan,
turn it off.
Reporting for UTRGV-TV, I'm Daniel Gavon.
I'm Nathaniel Puente.
Give me a kiss. Me a kiss.
No.
And for our Spotlight of the Month segment, our station manager, Ileana Luna, sat down earlier this week with Arnold Amador.
Thank you, Martha and Aisha. On this week's Spotlight of the Month segment, I am here with Arnold Amador, who is from the Center of Excellence in STEM Education, and he is here today to talk about the importance of education in STEM. Thank you for being here, Mr. Amador.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
So, first of all, what is STEM and what does it stand for?
So that's a really good question. STEM is a really big buzzword right now. It's something that's being thrown out with high demanding, high paying jobs. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So that's something that we want to encourage our students to follow because it's very high in demand and it's a really big umbrella word.
Specifically in your department, the Center of Excellence in STEM Education, how did that come to be? How did that form?
So the Center of Excellence in STEM Education, or CSTEM for short, it formed in 2011 when our director, Dr. Cristina Villalobos, proposed a grant to the Department of Defense. So they wrote up this grant, and essentially what a grant does is you're asking the Department of Defense, in this case, for money, and you're going to be doing a certain type of research, you're going to be providing a certain type of results to them. So that's kind of how it started.
Who would you say is the target audience for STEM education?
So for STEM education, ideally we would like to target everybody, but more specifically the students that are, again, interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. However, we welcome everybody at CSTEM. That way we can try to sway them over to, to the STEM side.
Okay, and within the STEM program, what are the benefits the students can really get out of it?
Well, I'm really glad you asked me that because there's a lot of benefits that we have to our students. So I just wanted to give you a little bit about, I guess, our purpose. So the Center of Excellence in STEM Education is a center that provides academic and professional development resources to undergraduate students. So essentially what that means is that we try to prepare you for your professional career. We prepare you for graduation. Ideally, we want students to pursue a STEM degree in higher education, such as a master's degree, a doctoral degree, possibly students in like a professional school or medical school, right? So we encourage these types of students to come to our events to prepare themselves to know the necessary information so that they can get ahead of everybody else, ahead of all the competition, and as a result be successful.
And you bring up events. What kind of events do you have throughout the years?
So as I previously mentioned, we have professional and academic workshops. So these types of workshops, I'll give you an example, is the very first one we had this semester is an introduction to research. So research is something that's very important, especially to STEM students. Research is the lifeblood of everything, from your textbooks to the technology that's in front of you. Your professors at one point or another had to have conducted or are still conducting research. So we try to introduce research to our students, let them know what it is and what are the benefits to it. That way they can start getting ahead of the competition. They start preparing themselves for how graduate school could possibly be like, since you'll be working closely with professors.
Now, is CSTEM located at both campuses? Can students from either campus find the resources they need both at the Brownsville and here at the Edinburgh campus?
Unfortunately, we're only located in Edinburgh, which is the Magic Building 2.402, and then adjacent to us, 2.412, is our actual center where the events take place. However, the students that are in Brownsville, we still try to offer our services to them. By that I mean we still send them emails with our upcoming events. That way, if they have any questions or would like to know that information, they can get a hold of us. Additionally, through our social media, we also try to live stream our events, try to take pictures. That way the students in Brownsville or just any other student that's following us, they can participate as well.
Now, is there anything else you would like to add, give a message out to the students?
Students, speaking from experience, I know college is a really interesting, and you guys are really exploring everything right now. You guys are trying to find yourselves, trying to see what you do and do not like. I would highly recommend joining us at the Center of Excellence STEM Education. Go to the Magic Building 2.402. Check us out. See what we have to offer you. It's these types of events, it's this type of initiative that I'm asking for you all as students to come and take, because all this information, all these opportunities are there just for you so you guys can be successful.
Well, again, thank you so much, Mr. Amador, for being here today.
Well, thank you all very much for having me, and please join us at CSTEM anytime.
Of course. Thank you so much. This has been Spotlight of the Month.
That's all we have for you today. But remember, if you know anyone within the UTRGV family who is making a big or small change, or a story you would like for us to know about,
contact us through our social media or email us at utrgvtv@gmail.com. We have community and UTRGV news for you every week. See you next time.